How's it going, everybody? You're watching Daniel Tech, and today I'm gonna answer a question that a lot of you guys have, and that is, which iPhone should I buy? So every year a new iPhone model is released, so then all of a sudden you have a lot of iPhones to choose from, and then the previous iPhones get a price discount, and then it's very complicated and difficult to choose which iPhone to buy. Thinking of that, I made this video to help you out with this. And first, two important things. First, the recording date. I am recording this video on March 2019, and this is very important because depending on when you're watching this video, a lot can change. So if you're watching this video in the end of the year, new iPhone models will be released, and then everything is going to change. There are going to be new models, new prices, and so on. So keep in mind that this is probably going to be valid until October, more or less, of this year, of 2019. Then I'll make a new video. Second of all, I'm only going to talk about new iPhones that are being sold by Apple and other official resellers. So only new iPhones that are officially being sold new, which means I'm only going to talk about the 7 and 7 Plus, 8 and 8 Plus, 10R, 10S, and 10S Max. Older versions, I'm not going to talk about those because they are not being sold officially new anymore. So that means I'm not going to talk about used iPhones. For obvious reasons, a lot of things can make the price vary. So depending on where you are in the world, depending on which state you are in the United States, depending on how well preserved the iPhone is. So a lot of things can change, so I'm only going to talk about new iPhones. Okay, so let's begin. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, then you don't want to go with the 10 series like the iPhone XR and the iPhone XS, because those are much more expensive. Then you want to go with the budget iPhones like the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 8. Keep in mind that in this video I'm always going to talk about prices in American dollars, so US dollars, because these are the standard prices, okay? These are the reference prices, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, the prices will have this proportionality, okay? So keep in mind, all the prices here are gonna be in American dollars, so check your local currency. One more important thing is that all the prices I'm gonna talk about in this video are for the lowest storage option, so that's very important. So let's begin with the iPhone 7. The iPhone 7 starts from $449 for the standard model, and for the 7 Plus, it starts from $569. And then we go to the iPhone 8. The iPhone 8 starts from $599, again for the standard model, and $699 for the 8 Plus. Which means that the difference between the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 8 is more or less $150. Doesn't matter if it's the standard model or the Plus model. It's always gonna be more or less $150. And if you ask me, I honestly do not recommend the iPhone 7 because the iPhone 7 is a couple years old now. It's gonna be like 3 generations old this year, and honestly, as soon as you buy it and start using it, it's gonna get slow very fast. It's gonna get laggy very fast because iOS is getting much more advanced and much heavier every year, so then you're already gonna buy an outdated iPhone. So if you can't spend more than $700, if your budget is $700 or lower, I really recommend going with the iPhone 8. So that's my recommendation. Now we're going to talk about the most expensive iPhone. So we're going to talk about the 10 series. So the 10R versus the 10S and 10S Max. So let's begin talking about the 10S. So the 10S starts from $999 for the standard model, the smaller one, and $1,100 for the 10S Max. So $1,100 for the 10S Max. To be honest with you, I can't recommend spending $1,000 or more on an iPhone XS or a 10S Max because, to be honest, it is very similar to the iPhone X. It just wasn't a big of an improvement. The only things you get that are a little bit better are the camera and the processor, which in fact are a little bit better, but for that price tag, it's just not worth it. As you guys know, last year was an S year for the iPhone, which means that it is not a big upgrade. Not a lot of things changed, just small things here and there because Apple has to release a new phone every year. As you know, one year you get a big launch, you get a big launch on the iPhone like the iPhone X was. with a big upgrade, a big update, completely new iPhone. And then the year after, you got the XS. That's an S year. That's a year where I just don't recommend buying that iPhone. And then the year after, which is going to be this year, 2019, you're going to have one of those awesome new upgrades. So then if you buy a XS, you're gonna spend $1,000 or more, and in a few months an all new iPhone is gonna be released and your XS is just gonna look very outdated. So that leaves us with the iPhone XR, which for me is the best cost benefit you can get if you want to get an iPhone right now, because the iPhone XR starts from $749. So it is actually only $50 more expensive than the iPhone 8 Plus. And if you ask me, if you're talking about the whole iPhone lineup, the iPhone XR is the best you can get, because it is not a lot more expensive than the iPhone 8 and it is quite cheaper than the iPhone XR. Yeah, but you can say the iPhone XR is not as good, like the camera, it only has one camera, and the display is not as good, it has thicker bezels and all of that, and some of that is true and some of that is not. It's just because people like talking, and because of this I actually bought an iPhone XR just to show you guys all this iPhone can do, and to show you that this is currently the best iPhone you can buy right now. For $749, you get the best battery life of any other iPhone. It even beats the battery life of the XS Max. It shares the same processor with the iPhone XS, so it uses the A12 Bionic, so it is actually much faster than the iPhone X, for example. And its single camera is actually the same as the iPhone XS and XS Max. So again, it has a better camera than an iPhone X. Of course, it has one less camera, but it can still do portrait mode and all of that. So for $749, I can guarantee you that the iPhone XR is indeed the best iPhone you can buy right now. And you may be asking yourself why I'm not talking about the iPhone X, and that's because the iPhone X was discontinued, okay? You can still buy it if you're lucky enough to find it somewhere, but Apple is not producing it anymore for some months now. So then it is not an official new iPhone that you can buy. That's why it is not on this list. So if you guys like this video, please make sure to hit the like button down below. I really appreciate it. Also click on my face right here, okay, and then click on the subscribe button right next to it to become my subscriber, and then click on this video right here because I'm sure you're gonna love it. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.